Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Tejas Financial Group. Tejas Financial is a company that specializes in helping retirees and pre-retirees build purposeful retirement plans. Custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but their time and talent as well. They believe that if you're taken care of financially, you go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at tejasfinancial.com or simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. All right, welcome back to the show. So glad you're joining us here. You know, we've been talking the past several weeks about market volatility, and today Matt Hoekstra joins us on the show. And Matt, your background is in psychology, and we're going to talk a little psychology today, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. So, you've got a term. We brought it up here before the show. I don't think I could even regurgitate it if I try, but explain to me what we're talking about.
Yeah, so it's the loss aversion principle.
Okay.
And basically what that principle says is that our brains were hardwired, and there's science behind this, and we'll dive into that another time. But the science is that our brains are hardwired to feel, and research shows this, to feel the pain of loss at 2 times the rate of joy that we feel when we gain. And so that's why, when you look back and you hear, stories of people losing money, a lot of times the markets come back, but they don't remember that. They just remember those 08s and those some of those really volatile times. Yeah. And so, it used to serve us a purpose back, our ancestors when they were foraging for food, and it helped shape behaviors. And but it's kind of one of those things that we can use to learn from, but it can also really get in the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's basically saying that we will feel and or remember negative emotions more so than positive ones. Obviously, it's without going down the rabbit trail here, it's pretty easy to see why so much news out there, news headlines are negative driven, because basically, due to your not only psychology but physiology, you're wired to really kind of feel that a little bit more than good news, so to speak.
Yeah, and we see that with clients and investors in the stock market. You see it in politics today.
Definitely, yeah.
The messages that you're getting, if you're a Republican or Democrat, is if the other person gets in, you're going to lose something big. Right. You're going to lose your rights. You're going to lose your money. You're going to lose whatever that is. My wife and I had an opportunity to see the loss aversion principle in real life. We were at Costco, and my wife was looking at these crackers, and a lady came up to her, and she said, "You need to stock your cart full of those, because there's the little Costco Death Star was on the price tag." And she said that star means that they're going to discontinue the item, so you should stock up on that. And my wife looks at her and she goes, do you like these cookies? Are they good? And the lady's like, I don't know. I've never had them.
Just get them.
Just get them. So, it's kind of silly, but it just illustrates this. Yeah. We're afraid of that loss, and so it causes us to do crazy things like fill up our Costco cart with cookies that we don't even like, just because we're afraid they're going to go away.
Yeah.
So, but that loss aversion principle translates into so many different areas of our life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're explaining that, and I can remember a couple of years ago during COVID when we were all stockpiling toilet paper for really no reason whatsoever. Yeah. We didn't really understand. Yeah. And I have yet to find somebody who actually ran out of toilet paper during COVID. But that's another podcast for another day. But talk about this, how this plays into the mind of our clients, because lots of times, again, no pun intended, you end up playing, kind of a psychologist many times, just as much as you do a retirement planner, trying to play into the emotions of people when it comes to their money in the stock market. Right.
And I think the key is not necessarily to play into the emotions, but to really have a set plan before those emotions and the fear of those negative emotions and patterns influences negatively how we make decisions. Mm-hmm. So trying to time the stock market or stocking up on toilet paper or cookies. If we have a plan before we go to Costco to say these are the things that we need, and even if we see that Death Star on an item that we love, we're still not going to stock up on that because we're going to stick to a plan.
Yeah.
If we have a plan for how our retirement is going to go, and we know that we can handle some volatility because we've planned for it, we're making that plan before we get really close to that loss. And before that loss aversion principle causes us to make really bad decisions that can negatively impact us.
I saw like a Facebook reel not too long ago, and it was this gentleman. He's walking around and he's interviewing like all these successful people on the street, or people that look really successful or driving really nice cars. And he found this one guy, and he said, "What's the best piece of business advice you can give the younger generation?" And he said, "Be able to control your emotions," which I would, from what I've seen, that's not a really common piece of advice, but as I was thinking about that, I'm like, that's actually a really great piece of advice where you can just kind of say, steady Eddie, stick to the plan, and not let your emotions get in the way. Because I think so many people, and I'm not talking like investing here, but they hurt themselves by making rash and reactive decisions. Again, I'm not placing a 1-to-1 ratio on that with what you're talking about with your clients, but at the same time too, to have the plan. So when the thing happens or the drop happens, you've already decided in advance what you're going to do, right?
Exactly. So it's just setting the plan when you're in a good space to be able to say, I know that based on the last 100 years of stock market volatility, that we can try to plan reasonably for these things. Planning for that, knowing how much you need, knowing what's enough. And doing that before the announcement comes out that there's this pandemic that's about to hit, right? Or before we see some significant volatility in the stock market. So we want to have a plan before that, not while that's going on.
All right, that sounds good, Matt. Well, if you want to take Matt up on that offer and start building a purposeful retirement plan specific for your life and your retirement, now is the time to give Taegis Financial a call. You can set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with Matt Hoekstra or one of the many financial advisors on staff. You can do that by calling 222-4236. You could request a meeting online at taegisfinancial.com, and you can always stop by their office. They are located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. And one more thing before I let you go, we have a brand new episode of Retire Repurpose coming up later this week on Friday at 4:30. Ben Taegis and I talk about what your family really wants. So many people talking about inheritance and leaving a legacy to the next generation. Ben Taegis is going to tell you a very intimate story and tell you about one client's testimony about what your family truly wants from you. That's coming up on Retire Repurpose later this week on Friday at 4:30 right here on KWLM. I'm Jared Sebesta of Taegis Financial Group, joining you in this episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Securities offered through Avantax Investment Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Avantax Advisory Services. Insurance services offered through an Avantax affiliated insurance agency.